Guys, we have had so much over the past few weeks drop on us. What's crazy is Bungie is still getting started. Bungie actually released a Vidoc teaser today. We're gonna briefly go over it, but again, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, which is 7 a.m. Pacific, the Vidoc will be going live. And normally this is a very long video, upwards of like 15, 20 minutes long. And it's an in-depth look at the annual expansion and essentially what's going on with Bungie internally. By the way, quick plug here, we are gonna be streaming it live over on our Twitch. If you wanna come by, hang out with us, we'll be live first thing in the morning, somewhere around 9 a.m. Eastern, in preparation for that 10 a.m. drop. Now, key moments from the Vidoc teaser. At 8 seconds, we actually see our Guardian activating Strand at the Strand pillar that we've seen in previous trailers. And this is very similar to how we acquire Stasis in Beyond Light from the Shards of Darkness. At 10 seconds, we see the Witness traveling in warp. No idea where he's heading here, guys. Maybe he's heading to Earth or the Amuna. Maybe this is him getting inside of the Traveler in some way. Who knows? At 12 seconds, we see Calus is released from his Darkness bath pod and remade by the Witness as a disciple. Look at that man. Again, we saw him going into the tub and now we see him coming out of it. Again, guys, that's pretty much everything from that Vidoc teaser that I wanted to jump into. I'm not even gonna play the whole thing at this point, but again, if you're interested in watching the whole Vidoc tomorrow, come by our stream. Now, with that being said, fellas, we have got to talk about everything that we saw yesterday in the season finale. I want to answer questions like, why is Crow being kind of sus? What's going on with the Warsats? Is Eramis single? These are the questions we really want to narrow down some answers on. So starting with Crow. Now, that cutscene that we saw yesterday, which by the way, was one of the most beautiful cutscenes Bungie has ever done. I actually wondered if Sony helped out with any of this, but the cutscene actually starts off with a shot of Crow watching the Traveler begin to leave. Now, many are wondering, was there anything at all here behind Crow in this cutscene, especially considering how similar him putting his hood on and leaving being similar to Osiris in his haunting figure while he was possessed by Savathun in Season the Splicer. Now, to be quite frank, I don't think Crow is really being that sus here. There could be several reasons why he's featured in this cutscene. He does have some major importance equal to all of the other characters present in the cutscene, that being characters like Mithrax and Ido, Osiris, Saint, Zavala, Korra, Kaido, and Saladin. Crow is a pivotal character, and even though I want him to go bad again, for the time being, I think he's still good. Now, he is alone because despite being as important as he is, he has not entered into the role of Hunter Vanguard, which he's obviously going to fill at some point. So it wouldn't make sense to place him in the shot with the Vanguard. But as for why he leaves, this could be very well set up for next season. That being Season of Defiance, which we know will feature Mara Sov as hinted by the key art revealed at the State of the Game this past week. We also know that from Season of the Seraph, there was a comparison made between the troubled sibling relationship of Elsie Bray and Anna Bray in comparison to Mara Sov and Aldrin Sov, who is now Crow. Now, the tension between Elsie and Anna has finally been resolved. Will that relationship between Crow and Mara finally get that same resolution? I don't know. You can definitely tell Mara has some levels of remorse. And believe me, I'm all about some family therapy. So hopefully they do resolve this at some point, right before Crow goes bad again. Yeah! Now moving on, we saw the old Destiny 1 armor. Oh yeah. At 42 seconds in this cutscene, you can clearly see 3 Guardians behind the Vanguard. Warlock, Titan, and Hunter, all sporting the same armor from the Destiny 1 character selection screen. Can you believe it, man? Just a subtle nod here that's noticed and appreciated by many of us. Oh, Bungie's pulling all our heartstrings, man. Now the Warsats. Now we get to finally see the Warsats in orbit, and they look awesome. Honestly, I kind of wanted them to shoot the Traveler down, even though that really wouldn't aid our narrative. But many people were pointing out the similarities between none other than Sleeper Simulant and the Warsat lasers. That's right, guys. They're both Warmind tech. Makes sense. We literally have been carrying around a mini Warsat with us since Destiny 1. But honestly, we've been carrying around since Halo, the Spartan laser, man. Now the operation underway is Loki Crown, also known as Abhorrent Imperative, which was created before the collapse as a last-ditch effort to destroy the Traveler if it ever attempted to leave. Sounds like a toxic relationship. For a long time, though, we never knew if the protocol was actually carried out. But this season, we learned that Rasputin canceled the firing sequence, so it's entirely possible if this went off, it could have actually destroyed the Traveler completely. Imagine if we lived in a Destiny where we could vote if we wanted to actually shoot down the Traveler or not. Like Bungie has narratives lined up for one or the other. Like 6 months in advance, Bungie's like, vote on it. You want the Traveler to die or you want it to live? All I want to know is what's on the inside. I just want to go inside of it. Can we see if there's any exotics in there? Is the DCV actually inside of the Traveler? If that's the case, then shoot it the hell down. Now moving on to Eramis and everything going on with her. Turns out, fellas, she's not single. That's right. She's simping for the witness. It's unfortunate. I've always wanted a woman with 4 arms. But she breached the security protocols of the Warsat network. And this is huge because not only is she ambidextrous, she's also intelligent, which is quite a combination. Now, some of you may be wondering, how is Eramis in this entire season story when it was Zivurath who's been the main focus of our attention? Well, Eramis has actually been working behind the scenes all season. And this was after her escape in Season of the Plunder. I know it sucks. Mithrax could have literally ended this, thus allowing our boy Red to survive. She also infiltrated the Spire of the Watcher before we did, most definitely to discover the information for the witness. She even left audio recordings documenting her disdain for the Traveler after the events of the Whirlwind, framing the events of this cutscene where she activates Abhorrent Imperative to destroy the Traveler. Again, if you leave Eramis, she will track you down galaxies away and destroy you. Sounds kind of hot, not gonna lie, guys. Now, it's obvious from the cutscene that Eramis is under the influence of the witness, because not only do we hear its voice, but Eramis also hears whispers of darkness in the Seraph station. Now, she's obviously being influenced, but the feelings that she has toward the Traveler are still her feelings. Now, next, I wanted to answer the question, what is Carrhae Black and Aurora Sacrifice? On the console Anna is using to upload Rasputin to the Warsat network are the words Carrhae Black and Aurora Sacrifice. And I'm probably killing both of those names. But Carrhae is reference to a battle between the Romans and the Parthian Empire, the latter of which took victory despite overwhelming Roman numbers. You played Rome, I played all of them, man. I even played Rome Remastered. And let me just say, at least from the game, Parthians were definitely not meta. But in this battle, they were. The reference being, we will claim victory despite overwhelming odds. Now, this subroutine was used during the collapse and can either be in states black or white. Now, Aurora is a Roman mythological figure that announces the arrival of the sun each morning. The name of the mission, where we upload Rasputin to the network, is called Final Dawn. This being Rasputin's last day. If you're not crying, I'll cry for you. Now, the big one that everyone noticed was the Destiny 1 cover art at 3 minutes and 18 seconds of that cutscene. Bungie reveals a moment that has been foreshadowed for 10 years. After rising into the sky, the shot of the Traveler above the Earth mimics the original Destiny 1 promotional art piece. Now, we're unsure of the exact time this image was revealed to the public, but the earliest image we can find was a date back to February 2013, just days before the Destiny 1 reveal Vidoc, which was on February the 17th. So no coincidence that this is 10 years later. We're literally getting the Vidoc on February the 16th. Absolutely incredible that this has been 10 years in the making. Now, was the Traveler actually leaving here? Well, it was interesting because after the Warsats were disabled, Eramis asked why the Traveler doesn't flee. The witness responds, because there is nowhere left to run. Now, this actually begs the question if the Traveler ever intended to leave in the first place. Bungie definitely wanted us to believe that it was leaving, but there has been some speculation that the Traveler was getting away from the last city to protect us in case like some debris of its destruction would also destroy the last city. Personally, I think it's the Traveler going to space and saying, hey, witness, I'm ready to 1v1. You, me, battle rifles only, blood goat. Now, either way, it's obvious from the character conversations in the game that we do need to rely on each other and not a Traveler or a Wormmind to survive here. They've had their battle going on for eons. We, however, need to utilize every resource possible outside of, worms. I'm all about the icky, but that's a little too much for me. Calus's ship. That's right, we actually got to see it. In the final scene before the cutscene ends, we see Calus's ship among the pyramid ships, and it's this very flat and very long piece. I know some of you are like, Cross, it looks like a key. I don't think so, guys. I think Calus is just obsessed with large ships. I mean, look at the Vidoc. Now you got this frying pan. The question is, how much of it are we going to be able to explore? Now, another note on this scene, it was also a call back to the piece of concept art made before the Destiny 1 launch. I know, mind blown. So if you weren't convinced that this moment has been building up for years, you better be now, because all the pieces are now coming into place. Now, as a final note here, guys, there are some implications from what we've seen today that shape the story of Lightfall that are a bit too in-depth to cover in the course of this video. We will have a separate story speculation video where we're going to predict what will happen in Lightfall. We don't look at leaks, we literally predict on what we see. Narratively, Lightfall is looking to be an incredible expansion. So guys, again, tomorrow we'll be streaming this live first thing in the morning. Come by, come hang out with us. We'll probably be watching some recap videos, most notably lore videos from Mylan and Bive. I love watching these leading up into the next season. It kind of puts us all on the same page on what the hell is going on. So I would love it if you guys joined us. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.